We are helping people transition to the new digital economy. I have a national radio show, and we are adding what we are calling Mythbusters meetings about all the myths about the new economy and kind of misunderstandings. The media call it, the gig economy, the sharing economy, the platform economy, the freelancer economy. They're calling it so many different names, it's even hard to understand what the heck's going on. How do I make a living today? And Zoom is a great way for people who are new to freelancing to build trust with their audience, and also to provide ways to execute what they are selling to their audience. So help me to kind of articulate to people that maybe don't understand that there are simple solutions to make the transition from maybe the incumbent economy, the way they were working their small business, to the new ways of working the small business in the new digital economy. And how Zoom is really kind of the ultimate simple solution for communication and building trust. That's the way I look at it. What are your thoughts on that?
I think if you had a time machine and you went back 50 years ago and you thought about how people got things done, and we've always known face-to-face communication gets things done, right? We're sitting here face-to-face and having a conversation. So 50 years ago, you had to be flying to be having a face-to-face communication. Or at best, if you couldn't fly, you would have a phone call, audio only, which I think it was limiting and expensive, and everybody wasn't able to do it. And the opportunities of getting things done were much lower because there weren't the tools to make it happen. And since then, we fast forwarded into 2018 now, where there's so many different solutions out there which you can use to have a face-to-face communication without actually flying, which is great. But I think the big missing piece until Zoom came around was how easy it was to use and how effectively it worked, and if it worked every single time. And so people didn't have faith in the system of video conferencing, right? Which is why you hear our customers go, "It just works." And that "it just works" is a symbol of them going, "Oh my God, I finally now have something," after promises of solutions and tools, which sure, they get things done, but you have to have a high network, you have to be in the perfect environment, you have to have great lighting, which all of us in day-to-day life don't always have access to. So I think Zoom has simplified that process of meeting with people face-to-face. Again, you and I sitting next to each other will always be better than you and I across a screen. Let's get that straight, right? As much as we want to reduce that gap and make it better to be virtually meeting than meeting physically, there is pros and cons. So it's like when you go shopping, you can go to Target and pick up things from the shelf and look at them, or you can go to Amazon and browse reviews. So there's pros and cons to Target shopping versus Amazon shopping. One is not better than the other in all cases, depending upon the use case. So I use that reference to video conferencing, face-to-face versus meeting virtually. Right now, it's one versus the other in terms of a use case. And I think we've reached that point where using video conferencing, you can still communicate, influence, engage with your audience. All you need is a device with a network, microphone, and camera, and speaker, and display, and you're ready to go. Which, as simple as it sounds, especially because it supposedly has been done before, but it wasn't really done in the right way, in that it just works, so everybody has access to it, and you don't have to jump through hoops, and you don't have to pay tons of money to have the perfect environment or the perfect lighting or the perfect network. So I think Zoom has cracked that it just works for everyone, which is so powerful. So simple yet so powerful.
My big question that I'm going to ask you to help me to communicate as a product development executive at Zoom is for the average Chamber of Commerce member. A lot of people don't even know what chambers of commerce are. They were started in 1599 in Marseille, France. They're all over the United States. And a lot of people who are chambers, they have some fear that it's out of their league, or they can't transition to this new way of working. Digital technology has changed the way people meet in person. And, I'm a baby boomer. You're probably a millennial or even younger. But, what I try to do is I try to bridge the gaps.
Right.
I'm about, connecting people, men, women, age groups, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's all about communication.
Yeah.
And I'd like you to give any encouraging words to people who are maybe a realtor, a state farm agent, a financial planner, that they too can meet people in new ways, the way people are meeting now. Address that.
Yeah.
Help me explain that, would you?
I would take an example for this. My parents are back in India, and we tried to do video conferencing before Zoom came around, and it just wouldn't work, and they gave up on it. So let's just do an audio call, let's just do Google Voice, one of these things, and that's fine, we'll see you when you fly. Because it's so frustrating when it doesn't work and your audio breaks up and your video is so blurry you can't make anything out. And so after I switched to Zoom, after I started working at Zoom, I was like, hey Dad, let's give this a try. And there was resistance, right? Because you've been burnt before. You've expected something to work, you've trusted it, you've given it a go, and it hasn't worked before. Or you haven't thought about video conferencing because not everybody has grown up in that age of video conferencing being a thing. It's new, it's still a new concept. And my parents gave it a shot, and we Zoom every week now, and it's easy, it just works. And the same is true for most of my team members who have families abroad. So I would say that, if you have tried it before and you have been burnt, do give it a try, because we've converted people into believing into video again, speaking from personal experience. And if you haven't given it a try, imagine the possibilities as you can connect with people. You can expand your market, whether you're a real estate agent or a speaking coach, or in fact, I'll give you an example. Another one, for the product keynote presentation we just did, we were coached by our speaking coach on how to be a better public speaker. And more often than not, he would join us on Zoom, because it would save him 15 minutes. Even if it's just 15 minutes, it would save him 15 minutes of driving to office and paying for parking and being here, and it was just as effective, right? So imagine those possibilities on what you could do, save your time, save your money, and more important than saving time and money, not to devalue those two, but the possibilities expand, right? Whether you're a yoga class teacher or a speaking coach, when you're limited by your geography, and you take those barriers away, and you can reach out.
I call it Speaker 2.0.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of Chamber of Commerce members will go to what they call mixers, and they go and they try to do business in a room full of 30, 50, or 100 people, and they get about 30 seconds to maybe a minute to do their little elevator story, okay?
Right.
And I try to explain to them, you shouldn't try to accomplish too much other than inviting them. Just take the stress off. Just inviting them to join you, accept my email invitation, because we're going to meet again next week. And then I'd like you to join me in a meeting online so we can really get to know each other. I can learn more about you.
Yeah.
So those two really go hand in hand. My son says, Dad, I'll never open an email if it's from somebody I don't know.
Right.
And so when you meet somebody, you get a higher open rate, and then you invite them to a meeting. And when you're sharing some valuable information, that's a really powerful 1-2 punch to make that transition to the digital age.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't have said it better. I should be interviewing you. I should be interviewing you.
There's some new technologies that Zoom is really bringing to the table, and the advanced capabilities are so cool. The way you can select a part of a screen, and really, because you can really create a report, a special report. You can do video, and I love. Get engaged, learn how to get on video. There's so many simple little tricks. Raise the computer up, get a little better shot, look a little better lighting. You know what I mean?
Right, totally.
All of a sudden you can look totally pro, and people don't realize you can have a little teleprompter. You can put bullet points right in your computer to make sure you stay on track.
Totally.
And so because pros use teleprompters. They don't ad lib. Presidents of the United States use teleprompters, you know? And with the Zoom meeting, you can use a teleprompter, right?
Very well said. It's true. Yeah, I haven't actually tried it out yet, but I should now that you mentioned this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, like I said, the Target versus Amazon use case, right? There are certain good things about video conferencing which are not possible with face-to-face communication. When I'm sitting across you having a talk, I cannot have a teleprompter. I can't be as well prepared as I can be if I'm sitting behind a screen. Because I can control my environment, I can control what I'm about to say next, I can control what I look like, I can control how I sound with the kind of microphones that I use. So it gives you, just like, you know, when you shop at Amazon, you get reviews, you can swipe through pictures of how other people are using the product, but you cannot do that at Target. So virtual video conferencing is more powerful in some ways than face-to-face communication. Right?
Yeah, because it can really elevate you, especially if I interviewed you and you had your book on the screen, now all of a sudden it becomes an audio book because I captured the book cover, I got an interview with you, you put that little graphic in your Gmail signature, your email signature, click on it, now all of a sudden you are the go-to authority.
Totally.
And you invite them then to a Zoom meeting, and now all of a sudden you're in the ultimate goal, which is to get into a one-on-one closing, you know, conversation. That's how you get a new client.
Yeah.
What better way to get new clients is there?
Yeah. Yeah,
You're stuck.
I can't think of anything.
Because there is no better way.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
Especially for Chamber of Commerce members. A lot of them are struggling because the media audiences have kind of gone down. They've shrunk. So it's become more difficult to get new clients because people don't realize that the media didn't really do a very good job as their audiences are shrinking. Instead of educating people to transition digitally, they just raised their prices. And they left a lot of their clients and advertisers unable to get new clients. That's what we're doing. We're helping people understanding how to make media work again. And it's the fusion, a person-to-person online communication, the blend of all those things together. I think that's the future of business, and I'm loving it. To me, I look at Zoom like a flying carpet. I can take my message, my story, and my mind and my ideas anywhere I want, locally, nationally, or globally.
Yeah, it is
That's
really
the
powerful.
power, isn't it?
I agree. I think I have been in the conferencing space all my career. From WebEx to GoToMeeting to telepresence to call manager, that's all I've done. And I genuinely believe that being able to communicate people is at the heart of being able to do, it's the core.
Changing the world.
Yeah, if you can't get your point across, if you can't influence people, there's only so much you can do by yourself. And so I think these tools such as Zoom make it so much easier for you to do whatever it is that you want to do. But the tool has to work. It has to be easy to use. It cannot be another barrier. It cannot be one more thing you have to worry about. It should just do its job so you can do yours.
Enough said. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.